Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm gonna do a video on how to achieve a really flawless makeup look. Well, not the entire makeup look, but I'm only gonna talk about the base. If you haven't watched part 1 of this video, where I talk about how I prep my skin before makeup in terms of skincare and stuff like that, I'm gonna leave a link down below. Make sure to check that video out first and then come on here, because all this glow that you see on my skin, I tell you how to get it in that video. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into the video. Skin prep for makeup is all done. Now we're gonna prep our skin makeup wise. So I'm gonna first start by using a primer. I'm gonna use my favorite Tatcha, the Silk Canvas Primer. This is the original version. This is the consistency of it. It's very moussey but very easily disappears into your skin. So make sure that you're using the right amount. And if you do use a little bit more of it, it actually starts to peel off of your skin. That is what I have noticed. And this primer in particular is perfect for every skin type, I feel like. I'm gonna apply it pretty much all over my face, avoiding this area and this area and this area, because this is where I'm gonna apply a pore filling primer on. You can definitely apply this primer all over your face, including your T-zone, but today I just felt like showing you what a pore filling primer can do. I'm gonna use the NYX Pore Filler Primer. And I'm really going to concentrate this on my nose area and this area, and I'm kind of gonna press it and not really massage it into my skin. Maybe sweep a little bit, but more so pressing it, because that is how you ensure that it is gonna properly fill in all of your pores, and that is how you ensure that you have a smooth canvas. If you have acne scars, like those little indentation marks, I have a few of those on my cheeks. You can even apply this on there, and it's not gonna fully fill them up, but it's gonna be a lot better. Our face is finally primed and ready for foundation application. Before foundation, I like to color correct underneath my eyes. So if you color correct your acne scars or underneath your eyes or over here, anywhere, if you use a color correcting concealer, you wanna use that right now and not on top of your foundation. So I'm gonna use the LA Girl Pro.Conceal concealer in the shade Pure Beige. It is a little bit darker than my skin tone, and if you have dark circles like mine where they aren't too prominent, you can get away with using a darker concealer as a color corrector. A lot of women with color have, pigmentation here, and I'm also going to put it on my acne marks. And now you can either use a concealer brush to blend this in or a beauty sponge like I'm going to, but make sure it is a damp sponge. You really don't want to be using a dry beauty sponge. At this point, we're just going to push it in and make sure we have the coverage that we need. Now what I like to do for underneath my eyes is I like to press here and keep pressing here for a little bit longer, because this is where I want the most coverage. And now when the product is pretty much set over there, I'm gonna move on towards the outer and inner part of my eye. And now here again I want a little bit more coverage, because this is where I have darkness. So I'm going to stay here a little bit longer. Blending with makeup is key to flawless makeup. Whether it's your concealer, your foundation, your eyeshadow, whatever it may be, blending is key. So for foundations, you have 3 options, which are a full coverage foundation, a medium coverage foundation, or a very light coverage foundation. or BB creams, CC creams, tinted moisturizers, stuff like that. Today I'm going to mix a foundation and a tinted moisturizer just because I want a little bit of a glowy and luminous finish. So I'm going to use the Maybelline Matte Plus Poreless foundation. This is for normal to oily skin and this is in the shade 230 Natural Buff. 2 pumps of this. Then I'm going to use the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Tinted Moisturizer. It's in the shade Medium 10N. This is a little bit lighter for me, but since this is a tinted moisturizer, I don't feel like it needs to be your exact color match. You can get away with using 2, even 3 shades lighter or darker than your skin tone. And this is very, very glowy because this is a matte foundation and I want a little bit of a glow. So I'm going to mix this in. But what you can also do is, of course, use a face oil mixed in with the foundation. This is the Nykaa Rose Essential Oil. This is my favorite oil to apply on my face first of all and then also mix in with my makeup. It really looks super glowy on your skin. Now you can use a damp beauty sponge to blend this out, or you can use a kabuki brush, any foundation brush that you like to use. I personally don't like to use a foundation brush. I've always used a beauty sponge, a damp beauty sponge, and that is my preferred method. But I think this NYX Professional makeup brush, this is in 04, is a really good foundation brush. And I'm gonna do a little bit of my face with this. I would recommend that you stipple with the foundation brush and not really drag it, because the concealer that we put underneath it is gonna go everywhere if you do that. So that is how it looks with the brush. And now I'm gonna use my sponge. Keep pressing it in even when you feel like it's all blended out. That is the key to making your foundation stay put for hours and looking flawless and like real skin in person. Make sure you're also applying your foundation underneath your jawline and also on your neck, especially if the color doesn't match. So if you're using 1 or 2 shades lighter than your skin tone or darker, you really want to make sure that you're bringing it down your neck so that it matches. Otherwise, it's gonna look like a mask. Another tip would be to work in thin layers with foundation. Apply a thin layer of foundation first and see how you like the coverage. If you don't like the coverage, go on top of it with another thin layer. But don't go in with a really thick gloppy layer in the first go, because that's not gonna look nearly as flawless, and it does look glowy still. I love that because it gives you a natural look and feel to your skin and not extremely matte and dead kind of a look, which I don't personally like. A damp sponge also adds to that glowiness of your face. That is another reason why I love using a damp beauty sponge. This one is from Wet n Wild, by the way. A good drugstore full coverage foundation would be the Milani Conceal Plus Perfect foundation. I'm in the shade Warm Beige. I thought I'll let you guys know my favorite drugstore full coverage foundation just in case you were interested in knowing that. So you want to use all of your cream products before you powder your face, and that is because cream products don't mix well with powder. So if you want to use a cream blush, a cream contour, bronzer, a cream highlighter, anything, you want to do that right now before you powder your face. Now highlight underneath my eyes and maybe here and here and here and maybe a little bit here too. And to do that, I'm going to use the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in the shade Sand Sable 20. I think this is now just called Sand. I don't think we need to be making triangles underneath our eyes to get a good brightened effect. Let's just leave that for the Instagram tutorials, because this is more than enough for real life makeup. I'm gonna blend underneath my eyes the last, because the longer you leave on the concealer to dry, the more coverage it's gonna give. It gets dry, and therefore, I don't know the science behind it, but it works, okay? You can look up and then blend, or you can look down towards a mirror like so and then blend out your concealer, but you want to make sure that those creases are blended out completely. Like I said, I'm going to use all my cream products now, so I'm going to contour and blush now. And for contour, I'm going to use the Huda Beauty Tantour in the shade medium. This is my favorite contour of all time, cream or powder. It applies so effortlessly and then it blends out even more effortlessly. I feel like the color is so amazing. It literally looks like a shadow and literally looks like you have cheekbones or you have some structure to your face. And if you already have a structure to your face, you can do this step to enhance it even more. So I'm gonna put it underneath here, and I'm gonna put it a little bit higher than where my actual cheekbone is, because when I blend it, it's automatically going to go down a little bit. So if I had already put it where my natural contour is, it would have blended down even further, and that would have made my face droop, when in reality it doesn't need to be that way. And I'm also gonna contour here. This is because it's gonna add a shadow here and make this part look sunken in. So as compared to this part and this part is gonna look more prominent. So you're gonna have more prominent cheekbones, and isn't that what we're all after? So I have very little of it left on my brush, and with that I'm gonna contour my nose. I always like to connect it to my eyebrows here. It looks way more natural. You can even go in the socket of your eye and contour it. Now everybody's nose shape is different, so just because this kind of contouring suits me doesn't necessarily mean it's going to suit you. It's going to be a trial and error, but it's going to be worth it. So you really want to try out different techniques of contouring and figure out what works for you the best. I'm going to put some on my forehead to shorten it. If you already have a small forehead, avoid putting it on here. You can maybe just put a little bit here just to match up with the rest of your face. And I'm going to blend upwards. I'm not going to drag it down. Can you see that instant shadow that it gives you? I did not have this 2 minutes ago, did I? You want to make sure you're blending it into your hairline. Otherwise it's gonna have that weird white line. And that is a dead giveaway that you're wearing a lot of makeup. I'm gonna create a jawline because I don't have one, as you can see, but chocolate is life. I'm actually going to do that Scott Barnes lip contour technique. This is the first time that I'm going to do it, so hopefully it works out. Ideally, you should be doing this before putting on your foundation. So I just feel like I've wrecked my makeup. It's the moment of truth, y'all. I don't know how I feel about it yet. Maybe a lip liner and a lipstick will improve the situation. But for right now, it's... Next, I'm going to use a cream blush. I actually love blush and I love cream blushes more than powder blushes. Honestly, you don't need a separate cream blush. You can literally use a liquid lipsticks as a cream blushes, but I don't know if that is technically safe to do that, but I do that all the time. I'm gonna use the Lakme 95 Weightless Matte Mousse Lip and Cheek color in the shade Coffee Light. This is my favorite lip color and also my favorite cheek stain. I think using the same color on your lips and your cheeks give you a very monochromatic look, which is not only super trending right now, but I actually prefer it over having, you know, a bunch of different colors on my face. It kind of looks very chic and very natural when you have the same color on your lips and on your cheeks. I'm gonna mix that in with the NYX Powder Puff Lippy in the shade Squad Goals. The more pinky ready one is of course the NYX Powder Puff Lippy, and then this one is the Lakme one. Cream blushes look so natural on your face, and if you apply them nicely, they actually last a long time on your skin as well. I'm gonna powder my face using the Maybelline Fit Me powder in Light 15. It's not a foundation, it's not a loose foundation, but it has a little bit of tint to it. But you can also use a translucent powder. You don't have to use a powder with coverage, obviously. One of my favorite loose powders is the Bharat and Doris loose powder in number 1. I'm gonna make sure that I tap out all the creases from underneath my eyes and then immediately go in and set it. And then do the same on my eyelid. I don't really like baking, but at this point, if you want to bake, then now's the time. To set my entire face, I'm going to use a little bit of a bigger brush and something that is a little bit more light. As you can see, it's not super densely packed. Now's the time to apply any more powder products on top since we've already powdered. So if you want to apply more blush, a powder blush, or you want to deepen your contour or bronze your face, apply a powder highlighter, whatever it may be, we want to do that right now before we set our face. I'm not going to do any of those steps today because I'm pretty happy with my blush, my bronzer, my contour, my highlight. I feel like my skin is just as glowy as I would like it to for today. So I'm going to go straight in with setting my face, and I'm going to use the MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus. This is my absolute favorite setting spray of all time. It's not going to extend the wear of your makeup because it's going to melt all the powders in your face. And then I like to press it in with the damp sponge. You want to be very gentle while doing this. Really don't want to sweep and disrupt the makeup underneath. Just press extremely gently on your skin so that it absorbs all of the extra product, and also press and blend the products underneath. And there you have it, a super flawless base. I hope you guys recreate this, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, then please subscribe to my channel and like this video. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.